she wanted to put me on depression medication. And I said no. And she said, why? I said, because I need to feel these feelings. It's the only way to get over it. You can't mask things with medications and pills. You have to feel it. It's the only way to get through it.
Hey there, welcome back to Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation. I'm your host, Jan Simon. And this season, we're raising the bar, diving into the passion, purpose, and defining moments of leaders who don't just aim high, they live there. Big ideas, real stories. Let's get into it. All right, today's guest is one of the most successful realtors in the nation and a name you've likely seen on both local and national television. With a career spanning more than 20,000 home purchases and sales, he has built a reputation as a real estate powerhouse and a trusted resource for homeowners. Originally from Bedford Hills, New York, he moved to Arizona in 1987, graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in real estate, and quickly rose to become one of the top 25 agents in the state. His ambition led him to launch Red Brick Realty and Red Brick Property Management in 2004, growing a team of over 90 agents and closing more than 1,000 transactions a year. His journey has taken him from the boardroom to the broadcast studio, even starring in the Discovery Channel's hit show Property Wars, where he earned a title of one of America's favorite real estate agents. Now aligned with My Home Group, he continues to innovate and lead in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Doug Hopkins.
Hey, wow, that was a pretty nice little intro.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, made me sound a lot better than I am.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you're like recognizable and well-known, I think. I don't know. But ask anybody, you watch TV, see Doug Hopkins on there. So
yeah, it happens. It's commercials. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have to look at my ugly mug every few minutes.
Well, it's the way it's got to be, right? You got to be recognizable. You got to be seen. You got to be heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and this is our first time sitting down, so I'm actually interested to learn more about you and
Yeah,
see what we can learn.
fire away.
So let's tell me about you as a child. Where'd you grow up? You grew up in New York.
Grew up in New York. It was a little small town called Bedford Hills that you mentioned. It's famous for having a women's prison that Martha Stewart went to.
Oh,
I used to play behind that prison all the time.
No kidding.
Yeah, we play hide and go seek and all that
awesome.
stuff up back there. But that was before Martha or after. Yeah, before Martha went there. She went there a few years after I left.
Gotcha.
Moved out to Arizona in '87, my junior year in high school. Probably the most miserable year of my life. I was captain of the football team, captain of the baseball team in New York, had a girlfriend, knew everybody from, being there and growing up there my whole life. Mm-hmm. And, we had 1,500 kids in our whole school. And I went to Mountain View, and we had 1,500 people in our graduating class. And I was a junior, and all the juniors and seniors could go off campus for lunch. I didn't have a car, so I got to stay with the freshmen and the sophomores, who I didn't know any of them, because they weren't in my class. It was a miserable experience for me. I came out too late to join the football team because we came out a day before school started, and they'd already had tryouts like 3 weeks earlier.
Wow.
So I knew nobody. I thought it was the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. As it turns out, it was one of the best because, you grow up, and I took it for granted, all my friends, because I just met them as, growing up, and I didn't have to try. So, I found myself, going and sitting down and introducing myself to people just to have someone to talk to at lunch instead of sitting by myself at a table. And, it made me the person that I am today, getting out of my shell a little bit, out of my comfort zone and going in and trying to talk to people. And eventually, baseball came around. I got very humbled. I used to think I was a good baseball player, and there was a guy named Brian Banks who wound up playing professional ball.
Okay.
He was the catcher. I was a catcher, and as soon as I saw him hit for the first time, I'm like, yeah, this is
Not for me.
I'm going to get cut, and that's exactly what happened. But that got me into spring football, and that's when I started meeting a bunch of people. And so my second semester was pretty good, and then my senior year was fantastic. I played football and got to meet a lot of people and got a bunch of friends. And
Nice.
it was cool. But yeah, that was my upbringing there.
And then you stayed here in Arizona after that, or did you go back to New York and then come back?
No, I went back during the summer between my junior and senior years, and I tried to stay. And I asked my football coach, Coach Manti, if I could stay with him. And he said maybe we'll see, and then they decided not to do it. And then there was another guy that I knew that played on the team, and he asked his parents, and they agreed. And about 2 weeks before we were supposed to make, my parents were really upset about it because they didn't want me to leave. But I wanted to, I made a passionate plea to please let me stay in New York. This is where my life is. And about 2 weeks before they had said yes, I wound up flipping a car. I was going down a dirt road called Suck-a-Bone Road. And,
Nice name for a road.
Yeah, I sucked a bone on that road. I was going around a corner way, way, way too fast. And I had this little Datsun with like these little bicycle tires almost on them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were so, it couldn't have been
Narrow.
more than like 4 or 5 inches. And I went around that corner way too fast and wound up flipping it. It landed on the upside down. And I remember I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. It crushed the car. I could not get out of the passenger or the driver's side door because it was too crashed, too impacted. And so I had just dropped off my sister at because we were both in town, and I dropped her off at her friend's house. And I crawled. She had left the window down because it didn't have air conditioning. And I crawled out that window and I went running to one of the neighbors' houses that was on there. There were big properties, 5-acre properties, so there was very few and far between were houses. But I found a house, went and knocked on the door. I went running because you look at the movies, right, and you see when you have big crashes, all of a sudden the thing could explode. That's all I kept thinking about was this thing's going to explode and I'm going to die. What's crazy is I wish I had a picture of it. Back in the day, there was no cell phones. This is 1988 probably, somewhere in there. And when I looked at it, we went to the impound where they took it. I could not believe that you would have thought that I would have died, but for some reason I don't know what happened that day, but I walked out without a scratch.
That's crazy. What's crazy, fascinating. Similar situation, but I didn't leave town and go back. But a buddy of mine picked me up from football practice after school. I think I was a sophomore in high school, and he had just gotten his license. But he took his brother's Volkswagen Bug that his brother just finished restoring.
Yep.
And we took off on a joyride, dirt road, and there's different stories to how this actually happened. He says I grabbed the wheel, which I don't think I did. Yeah. He was swerving, kind of fishtailing. We were messing around, lost control, hit a tree, and in the front, there's no seatbelts. So we literally flew out the driver's side door, both of us. I landed on top of him, and same thing. I mean, looking at that thinking, my head could have been through that windshield.
Yeah.
I mean, how did we go that way and not that way?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. To this day, anytime I live off of a dirt road up in Pace, and I have a little cabin up there I go to. To this day, anytime I'm on a dirt road, I think of that moment.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I go very slow.
Start
very
skidding
slow.
a little bit.
Start skidding a little bit. Like, that's it. Nope. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, my truck has much bigger tires than that Datsun had. So.
Yeah, no doubt. So is your hometown in New York? What's the name of it again?
Well, I was born in White Plains, but I grew up in Bedford Hills.
Bedford Hills. Is that near Syracuse?
No, Syracuse is up north, northwest, I guess. No, it's about 40 minutes north of the city.
Okay, so you're a Jets fan.
I am a Jets fan, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you grew up near Frank. How'd you get to know Frank? How'd that all come about?
Well, how's anyone meet Frank? He's
just shows up.
He's just loud and he's just, gregarious and was at a bar, and he's just blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who is this guy? And then he's like, hey, I'm Frank. I'm Big Frank. Call me Junior. And I'm like, all right. So he bought me a beer, and then we got to talking. He's a really nice guy.
He is. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. I don't know if all New Yorkers are that way, but he's
no, they're
he's
not.
One of the good ones.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, who were the people that influenced you or motivated you to do what you were doing at that time? I mean, obviously in your younger life.
Yeah, my younger life, I mean, my dad and my grandfather. My grandfather is probably the best man, pure man I've ever known. I still think he's an angel on my shoulder. Like when things go right for me, I'm like, that shouldn't. I'm like, man, that's my grandfather.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I can't hold a torch to that man. The amount of respect I have for him. He was not a sports guy at all, and all I wanted to do was play sports as a young kid. And I would go down there for a week for spring break to Florida. They'd spend half their time in New York and half the time in Florida, in Palm Beach. And so I would go down and visit first it was my grandfather and grandmother, and then my grandmother passed away, and then he remarried, and they were married for I think another 19 years or something like that. It was a long time. And every time I would go down there for spring break, he would go out and they had spring training games. And it was the Montreal Expos. They existed. They're now the Washington Nationals.
Yep.
And the Atlanta Braves shared a park together. And you had complete access back then. You can go watch all the practices, get a bunch of balls. It was fantastic. And that's when and the Expos were much easier to watch than the Braves. And that was a time when the Expos were really good. They had guys like Andre Dawson. Pete Rose actually signed with them. Gary Carter was on that. Tim Wallach. I got Tim Raines. I got all their autographs. They would all sign. Wow. Really, really nice. You can literally just walk up to the fence. I started talking to Gary Carter. Told him I was a catcher, and I said, "What kind of glove are you using? You're using Mizuno. Is that the best glove?" And he just started laughing. He goes, "No, whatever you like, whatever fits." But my grandfather couldn't stand go and
really
do it, and he would do it, and I would ask him, I'm like, why do you do it? Because he goes, because it makes you happy.
Wow.
And that's the kind of man that he was.
That's awesome.
And I really respected him a lot.
That is really cool.
Yep.
That is really cool. Is he still with
no,
today?
No. He died at 89. Yeah, so that was probably 20 years ago now.
Gotcha. When you came out to Arizona, you said your junior year you were too late for football, tried baseball, didn't work.
Yeah.
Got into football, back into football. What position did you play in football?
Offensive tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you end up playing your senior year football as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played my senior year. I missed the junior year, but I played senior year.
Okay.
Didn't play a lot,
Well,
but I played.
Not as tall as some guys.
Yeah. Well, back then, I was one of the bigger guys on the
Yeah.
team. I mean, they weren't making them like they're now.
No,
I mean,
it's
it's
crazy
insane.
now.
Hey, if you're not like 6'3", 6'4", you're not playing offensive tackle.
Yeah, not at all. We had two guys on my high school team that were 6'5", and I grew up in a small town in Northeast Washington, but they were like giants. I mean, there's nobody that was anywhere close to them.
Yeah.
And now it seems like that's just average.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck?
Oh, they're monsters coming out now.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. After high school, what did you do? You went to ASU?
Yep, went to ASU. I stayed at Manzanita dorms. My parents paid for the first year of college, and wanted me to get the full college experience, and paid for me to be at the dorm, even though we lived 20 minutes away.
Okay.
That was my first taste of freedom, and I was not very good with that.
Introduction to alcohol at that?
Yeah, yes, you could say that.
And other stuff?
Nope, never.
Oh, no,
I stayed away from all the other
Okay.
stuff, just alcohol. Yeah, no, the other stuff scared the heck out of me, so I never partook in any of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Not even to try it. You
Yeah.
know, was curious a couple times, but never did it. So I went there, got a 2.0 GPA for my just average straight C's across the board. I don't even know how I did that, honestly. I think, I always have common sense when it came to answering test questions and whatnot. And,
You just picked the right one of five.
yeah. And so wound up, my parents say, we're not paying all this money for you to get a 2.0 GPA. I'm like, it's passing, but
Yeah, right. Hey, you're still going to graduate.
yeah, but I understand that.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, so yeah, they said that's it, Doug. We're not paying for your college anymore. So time to get a job. Got a job and went to put myself through Mesa Community College. And then after my first semester at Mesa Community College, I was doing the same thing. I paid for it myself. The books, the books cost more than the courses.
Oh,
did.
yeah.
And then I went in and I got a job and I was making some money. And I decided I was going to do the same thing I did at ASU, just wound up not going to classes and then just guessing on the test. Well, that didn't work my second year, and I wound up dropping out. I think I went the first semester. The second semester, I wound up dropping out. And I remember being in the parking lot at Mesa Community College and going, I feel pretty darn low right now. Like I felt like a complete failure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to turn my life around. I can't be doing this and having all fun and not working and not going to school. So I wound up the next year finishing up all my undergrad stuff at Chandler Gilbert Community College. And then I wound up paying for Arizona State. And so I went to Arizona State University. We had the first the class of real estate.
Okay.
So real estate was part of the business program. I don't know if it still is or not now, but I was a real estate agent. I had just become a real estate agent. And so I'm like, this is right up my alley. I figured it'd be easy because I know real estate now, but it was commercial, mostly commercial real estate. Wasn't as much residential. So I didn't really get that. I wound up passing and getting through that whole thing. It took 2 years of that, and I was 13 credits. You said I graduated from ASU. Did not graduate.
Oh, you did
from
not?
ASU. I
Okay.
did not. I went to ASU. I was 13 credits shy, all electives. 13 credits shy of, but I was
So you
making.
couldn't just go play pickleball.
No, I'm not Kevin. Yeah. No, but I was 13 credits shy. I'm like, man, I could get this done. But at the time, that last year, I made $250,000.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, do I really want
You
to
don't need
take
it.
off? Yeah. and I decided not to do it. I justified it by saying, I'm making more than these teachers are.
Yeah.
So I wound up not going. I have some regrets about not getting that stupid
Just to
piece of
have it,
paper.
yeah.
Not to have it. Like just one more semester, and it would have been done. And I would have had that
Yeah, you
certificate.
could go take PE classes, like yoga classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I could have taken like gym and like all these different working out, and you can do all these classes, and it would have been real easy. But I chose not to just because of time. To go to ASU, and it's probably the same way now. I mean, you'd have to leave an hour plus early for the class because you have to park in lot 59 and then take the tram over there and then wherever it goes. It was not this class, which was like 40 minutes long. It was, it took 3.5 hours of your day because you had to commute. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's crazy. It is a big campus.
Yes.
It's a very large campus. So you were selling real estate then before you finished school.
Yeah. So I was actually working with a common friend, Kevin Kaczynski. We were selling cable door to door.
Oh.
And we're for what's now Cox Communications, but it used to be Dimension Cable. And so I got Kevin the job there, and because we were best friends at the time and still are. And then he left to get a quote unquote real job, and he went to Venture Financial, which is owned by Gene Lyons.
Okay.
And right then, I guess I'm trying to think of what year this is. Probably 94, 93, 94, interest rates came way down from like 13% down to like 8%, and everyone was refinancing. And Kevin showed me his paycheck for, we were making the same amount of money over at Cox, and he showed me his paycheck, and I think my paycheck was like $600, and his was like, I can't remember, but it was like $20,000 or something like that. I mean, it was a ridiculous amount of money, and I had never seen that kind of money. He goes, that was one paycheck. He had a bunch of closings and whatnot. He goes, Doug, it's just the same as selling cable. He goes, how much do you make? How much is your commission when you sell cable? I'm like $25. He goes, yeah, mine's like $2,500.
Wow.
So
You're like, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, it's scale. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing this too.
Yeah.
And so I went to do it, and the day I started, interest rates shot back up, and that was
Of course.
the end of refinancing.
No more
So
mortgage.
I went to Gene Lyons. Now, Gene's son, Damon, he was Kevin's assistant. He's now my partner in Seller's Advantage out in California.
Okay.
But I met him through Gene, and we wound up eventually going out. He was working for me, and then he went out to California, and we wound up opening shop up there. I made him a 50-50 partner, and that's what we're doing out in California right now.
Do you do just sales, or do you mortgages and stuff too?
No, we just do sales.
Just sales.
Yeah, just
Okay.
buying and selling.
and
We
sell.
do list houses as well. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You went back to school, decided not to finish because you're making too much money.
Yep.
Or making good money. Not too much.
Yeah.
Is there ever too much?
There's never too much. Yeah.
Is there too much?
Yeah.
Is that, and you've been in real estate ever since.
Ever since. In '94, I was licensed. July of 1994.
So when you first got in, were you, and I don't even know how to use terminology, so I'm probably going to offend somebody listening, I'm sure, but were you like kind of a street guy? You were like out there just peddling 1-2 houses? Or
No.
did you just go, I got this idea?
Got it. So I started out as a regular real estate agent. I had no idea. You go through real estate school. They don't tell you how to be a realtor. They just try to. I think it's more of trying to vet.
Get you to
people
pass
that-
a test?
Get you to pass a test, and then it's like, good luck.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
So I learned all this nonsense that nobody ever uses except for I still have the
instructor.
square footage of an acre. That's about the only useful thing that came out of that. And we wound up passing the first time. I'd never been so scared in my life to pass the test because I had no money. I was broke. And when I became a loan officer, the way I wound up meeting these realtors, Bob and Mary Millard. They're still in the business today. They're in their 80s, and they're God bless them. They're still huffing it up there and doing great.
Awesome.
So I worked for them, and they told me, hey, you got to do open houses on the weekend, and you'll get a bunch of clients. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so I did. I held an open house on the first weekend I got my license, and we got 4 people in. And there was 2 people. I did Saturday and Sunday. 2 people on Saturday, 2 people on Sunday came in. I sold all 4 of those people houses.
Oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. And wound up did four. That was my only 4 deals, but I got 4 deals for that month.
Wow.
So I got 4, and I made, I think I made like $8,000 that month, and because the commissions were a lot lower back then.
Yeah.
The sales prices were
smaller.
It was
the
like
lower sales price.
$120,000, and I was at a 50-50 split.
My first house we bought here in Arizona was 2,100 square feet. I think we paid $117 for it.
Yeah.
And I just saw recently it sold for like $410 or something. I'm like, I would never pay that much for that dump.
Yeah.
It's like, no way.
Yep.
So
yeah, I bought a lot of, it even got cheaper in 2008, 9, 10 with the whole foreclosure crisis there. Yeah. And, if I go back in time, oh my gosh.
Buy every house you can get your hands on.
Houses were selling for, 2 years earlier, brand new, for $250,000. We were buying on the courthouse steps for $40,000 and $50,000.
Well, I went through some pretty bad time, 2007, 2008. I was one of the statistics, but our house before the crash had appraised at like 900,000, something like that.
Uh-huh.
It short sold for like 125.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like I look back at that now. I'm like,
wow.
I made bad decisions at the wrong time.
Yeah, I didn't get hurt too much by it. I do remember 2007 being my worst year since I started, since 2 years after I started. Yeah, it was probably the least amount of money and the most amount of panic and the most amount of fear I've ever had. I mean, you didn't know if all the banking system was going down. Like, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I really experienced something like that. I mean, every day there was coming out, this bank went down, this bank went down. Mortgage companies closing down left and right. Kevin gets locked out of his place at Great Southwest Mortgage. It's like, that's our building. You can't lock me out of my building.
Right.
We own it.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it was insane times. I mean, I just remember, and my bad at that time was 2 months prior to the crash actually happening, I quit my job, my corporate job, to go partner in an agency.
Oh God, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, and it's like I'm over leveraged. And I'm like,
that's all about time.
It's just bad.
Life is all about time.
Oh yeah, it was a spiral from there.
Yep,
So,
yep.
Talk to me about a season in time, and we'll call it a season or a time, space and time, throughout your history that literally almost broke you.
Oh, by far and away, my divorce.
Okay.
Yeah. My divorce happened in 2011. I won't get into too much detail, but, I was dating somebody that had some medical issues and got addicted to pain pills, and became a huge problem. And so I went to a divorce, and it was horrible. I felt my parents were married, or just still married. They're still alive, still married. They've been married for 55, 56 years now. My grandparents before that, they were 45, or no, they were 50 plus as well. And then when when my grandma passed away, my grandfather got remarried, and it was like another 18 years or something like that. So, I never really knew divorce, and so I felt like a failure as a man, as a husband, and as a father. Yeah. And that's the only time I ever sought counseling, because I was so depressed that I didn't know what to do. I couldn't sleep. I went 72 hours without sleeping. Wow. And I was literally seeing things, and it was crazy. And somebody gave me a sleeping pill, and I finally got some sleep. But that was by far and away the worst period of time, because you tell yourself all these horrible stories in your head. My kids are going to grow up, and they're going to be bad people. I'm not going to be around to we had 50-50 custody, but I remember the first time when I rented a house. The first time I moved into that house, and I got it all set up. And some friends came over and helped me move, and they bought me a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I sat there in the kitchen. My bedroom was upstairs, and I drank about half that bottle and fell asleep. I couldn't even go upstairs. I didn't want to go upstairs. I just fell asleep on the floor in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And woke up the next morning going, what in the world happened? So when I was married, I'd bought an unbelievable house at the courthouse steps. It was built for about $3.5 million, and I bought it for $750,000.
Wow.
It was 7,500 square foot house, beautiful house overlooking the valley in Los Angeles, and I moved out of that house into a small rental, and I woke up just going, what happened to my life?
Yeah.
And then you tell yourself all these stories like, I'm never going to find love again. I'm never going to be lonely for the rest of my life. Every bad story you could possibly tell yourself, that's where my headspace was, and that's where I lived until one day I met a girl that made me see that there was hope, and there was definitely a future after divorce, and it worked out really well. I'm glad I went through that experience. I can tell you this is why I stopped seeing that therapist. She wanted to put me on depression medication. And I said no. And she said, why? I said, because I need to feel these feelings. It's the only way to get over it. You can't mask things with medications and pills. You have to feel it. It's the only way to get through it. You can't just blur it down or make it try to that it's not there, because it's always going to be there unless you feel what you need to feel. It's like getting sick too. You got to go through it and to get to the other side. Yeah. And I knew that in my head. But she was insisting on me getting these pills, and that's when I'm like, no. And she goes, you're going to be like this for 2 years. And I said, what makes you say? She goes, because how long were you married? I said, 12 years. She goes, yeah, it's about 1/6 of the time.
Wow.
And I'm like, nope. And so what I did was I'm like, I'm going to show her, and that's when I'm best, when somebody tells me I can't do something or whatever.
Yep.
And so I went and bought every Tony Robbins CD that they had. And I started listening to Tony Robbins and just surrounding myself with positive thinking instead of the negativity, which was I was telling myself these stories. And I realized that, it's human nature to do that. And I learned a lot about human nature listening to that. It made me a better person. It made me a better boyfriend when I'm dating somebody. There's a lot of really good things. And for those of you people that are feeling depressed or not knowing where you're going or get a divorce or whatever, life happens.
Yeah.
Immerse yourself in positive stuff and stuff that motivates you. And that's what really, really helped me. I was fine. Literally, I got divorced in April, and I was back to my feeling better than myself in December.
Oh, wow.
So it lasted,
Awesome.
about 8 months or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Totally relate with that. I similar experience going through, 2007, 2008. I tell people you could write a country song, and it doesn't matter what you say about it. That's what happened to me in 2007, 2008. Yeah. And that feeling, I didn't end up at the bottom of a Jack Daniels bottle, but I
only got half.
Well, halfway through, floating in the middle. Yeah. but I tell you, man, I remember going through, and I won't get into details about mine, but talk about feeling failure. I mean, the two big things that happened to me in that time frame, 2007, 2008, bankruptcy, which I thought was a huge failure, and then divorce. Yeah. And it was like, and I felt like I failed everybody. Yeah. Everybody from the top down. And I felt like my parents are never going to be able to be proud of me again, and all that stuff.
You feel helpless. Oh, helpless,
absolutely.
Hopeless.
Like, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And I was sleeping on the floor. A friend of mine let me crash. He had an extra bedroom, and I had a futon mattress that I laid on the floor in his house. Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah, I moved in with friends and for a month, and then I was like, they wanted me to keep staying and whatnot. I just felt like I wasn't comfortable. Mm-hmm. I felt like I don't want to burden anybody.
Right.
And so I went and got a house right down the road and wound up going there. But then my kids, they were young at the time. They were 6 and 9.
Okay.
All their friends, I wanted them to stay in the school that they were in, mm-hmm. and so I'd have to bring them to school every day. And then on the weekends when I had them, they wanted to play with all their friends, and they stopped wanting to come to my house because all their friends lived in Los Angeles.
Oh.
And so then I'm taking that personally,
Yep.
like they don't want to be with their dad.
They're embarrassed of where you're at.
Yeah, and so they just wanted to play with their friends, and so I wound up moving back to Los Angeles so that I didn't feel
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
And
That's
plus
rough.
the commute was a little bit better, because I had to drive to school
rough.
every day too, because there's no buses that go out of bounds.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
What would you say to somebody who's going through that?
Going through a divorce.
Yeah, anything. I mean, in that space where they're floating halfway in the middle of a Jack Daniel's bottle.
Yeah. That the answer is not the end at the bottom of the bottle, that's for sure. But every once in a while you need to do that, I guess, to wake you up a little bit. Just what I said, surround yourself with positive people and positivity. I can tell you this, I don't agree with everything he says, but Tony Robbins is insanely awesome as far as it really, really helped me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on YouTube for free now too that you can put in. I can tell you another story. I was when my last daughter moved out of the house. This was about year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. And I was, I've always worked for my family, for my girls. I have 3 girls, and I've made now enough money where I can retire and live comfortably, and made some really good investments, bought some really good properties. But where the heck was I going with this?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm along for the ride.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh, where the heck was I going with that?
I know you said
Yes. So I lost my purpose. I lost my purpose. I didn't know
she had moved out.
after right as she was moving out.
Okay.
I'm becoming an empty nester. And it's just me and my girlfriend living at the house. And I walked in, and it was just me and her. And it was the first time that's been that way. And so I kind of was questioning everything of why am I doing this? What am I doing this all for? I mean, purpose was my family. All my three of my daughters are married, and they're all happy, and life is good, and I didn't know what to do. So I went to a mastermind event out in California, and I started asking everybody that that does the same thing as me all around the country, like, hey, what's your purpose? Everyone had the same thing: family, family. And I'm like, okay, well, what happens when your family's out, you've done good, and then what? What? It's got to be more than just that.
Yeah.
And nobody had an answer for me that made sense to me. So I was staying it was in Oceanside, California, where the mastermind was. We were staying at a hotel right on the ocean, but my room faced to the city.
Okay.
So I went downstairs and I just said, hey, I want to change rooms. Do you have anything that faces the ocean? And they said, well, the only thing we have is a suite, and it's $1,500 extra a night. And I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
So I talked to them. I negotiated, because that's what I do, and got it down to like $700 a night. Wow. And so I went up to this room, beautiful room, and I overlooking the ocean. I just kind of meditated and tried to just say, well, okay, what is the purpose of life? I need to figure this out. What is my purpose? Not the purpose of life, but what is my purpose now?
Yeah.
And so nothing came to me. So I wound up grabbing my iPad, and I just started YouTubing, what's the purpose of my life? How do I find my life's purpose? That sort of thing. And I came across a little YouTube video. It was put together that was Steve Harvey talking.
Okay.
You know who Steve Harvey is?
Yeah.
And it resonated so much with me. I'd watched about an hour and a half 2 hours looking at this stuff, and I'm missing all my classes. I don't care about any of the real estate stuff. I'm just like, I'm trying to find myself right now.
Yeah.
And it was the most lost I've been since my divorce, which was, my divorce was 2011, so about 14 years ago, and this was probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, and it said the purpose of your life, your purpose is whatever you do best without trying. And went into this a bunch of stories about that, and I realized I'm really good at what I do. I'm really good at and the reason I'm really good at what I do is because I listen. I listen to the people that are telling me, and I'm a great problem solver, and I have a lot of common sense. I have a lot of deficiencies in a lot of other areas, but for whatever reason, I'm a really good listener, and I have empathy, and I can have a conversation. A lot of that conversation piece goes back to when I was, a junior in high school. I'm having to talk to people that I wasn't sure of. So it's easy for me to talk to new people. Not so easy for me to remember their names. So I'm not a good.
I'm horrible at that.
It's so bad.
Horrible. horrible at that.
But anyway, whatever he said about his purpose wound up resonating with me, and I realized my purpose is what I'm living. I'm living my purpose right now. I'm helping people that are looking that have a problem that I'm looking to solve. People sell me their houses that need to sell right away, or we have a variety of people that we work with.
Yeah.
Some people just don't want the hassle of selling a house traditionally. Some people don't want to fix anything. Some people want to move like in a week and need it sell right away. Some people are buying a new house and have to sell because the home builder won't accept a contingency. Some people their pools are empty and their roof needs work and they don't have the money to fix it up, or the AC's out, or the house is just dated. And there's some houses that are just in absolute perfect condition. I bought a house the other day, literally perfect condition, and the people just didn't want to deal with it. They wanted the absolute certainty that it was done, because I'm the only company in town that it's 100% certain. I've never canceled a deal, and I've always do exactly what I say I'm going to do, and I've never tried to renegotiate a price after we sign on the dotted line. There's no other competitor of mine that does that. So, but yeah, that's that story. But
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's impressive. I mean, I commend you. It's interesting. I mean, being in a what I will say similar, not industry. I mean, I'm in insurance. Thought process. People think of us as used car salesmen, right? Real estate agents, probably the same thing. What are you trying to pull over on me? So to be able to be honest, I tell people all the time, look, the only thing I've got is my integrity. As soon as I go against that, or, dishonesty, whatever, I have nothing left.
Yep.
I have the same products as everybody else on the market. It's me that you're buying. It's not necessarily the insurance I'm selling. So,
yeah, I think we're at 4.8 on Google.
That's awesome.
With 400 and something reviews, because we do exactly what we say we're going to do every single time. Single time. And the people that give us 1-star reviews, they've never, people call in and say, I hate the way he says "you're" on your commercial or something, 1 star. Why would anyone sell to this guy? 1 star.
Yeah.
We also get a lot of people calling in saying, get this fat guy off my thing, or get this bald guy off. I'm like, man, you guys have too much time on your hands. You're calling in being like that.
You get there's always going to be haters. You can't ever please everybody, especially when you're in the public eye.
Oh,
and you have much more hair now than before.
Oh yeah. I got my little hair plugs going on.
There you go. Well, they're growing well. So
the front anyway. It's pretty gnarly in the back. But
it's all you got to see.
I'll tell you what. I'm not embarrassed about it. I had the hair transplant, right?
Okay.
But I have so much bald space that I can only do it like up front. By the way, Damon, my buddy Damon that we talked about earlier, he's the one who taught me into it because he got it done.
Oh, really?
He taught me into it. So I made the big mistake going in to get my hair transplant, because right before I walked in, I asked him, I'm like, so does this hurt? Like, I never even asked you. And he goes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how bad? He's like, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
So my blood pressure went through the roof.
Oh, damn.
And so my blood pressure was so high, they didn't want to operate. And I'm like, really? I came out here to California to get this done. I'm in downtown Beverly Hills. Oh, and they're sitting there trying to, and I have my blood pressure. He goes, did you take your blood pressure medication yet? And I said, no. He goes, all right, well, take it right now. And so I took one. It came back in half an hour later and checked it, and it didn't do anything. He goes, well, all right, let me come back in another half an hour. So I went and opened up my bottle. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not going to take 2. So I took another one, and he came back in. He's like, you know what? Here, take this pill. This should help. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I just took 2, and now I'm going to take another one. I'm like, I'm going to crash out on the table, man. So I took it. And they came back in, and that lowered it. And then I said, so I heard this hurts pretty good. He goes, yeah, but we're going to give you this little pill, and it should be fine. And it was like a little sedative sort of thing. They said, just take the blue one in there, because they had a bunch of pills, some for making sure you don't get an infection, and like, I don't know, they had all these little pills and whatnot. Well, there's 2 blue ones in there. I didn't know it, so I took one of the blue pills, and they said that's the sedative or whatever. Well, that wasn't the sedative. That was the thing for the infection stuff, to make sure you don't get an infection. So I'm like, wow, that thing works pretty good. It was all in my head.
Really?
I thought, yeah. Oh,
No kidding.
It was unbelievable.
That's incrable.
It was like, wow,
That's incredible.
That feels cool. That feels good. So then they go they start to because they have to make little incisions in your scalp to bury the they take the
hair follicles.
Yeah, they take the hair follicles from your back because that's a different DNA than the ones on the top.
Okay.
That'll always grow. You'll always have the hair in the back, but on the top that's what dies over time.
Huh.
So they made that first incision. I thought I was going to go through the chair.
Oh,
It hurt so much, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me! How many more of these are there? It's like 150 little incisions. I mean, it's just little incisions, and you have like no. It's like you got what, a couple layers of skin or whatever, and then your skull.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, is this supposed to hurt this much? And so they're like, well, it shouldn't be hurting you that much. I had to go to a different place in my mind, and I just said, listen, I'm going to make a little bit of a scene here as you cut, but this is the only way that I know of to do this. So while they're doing it, I just went, let's go, and I just went like that, and they just started cut.
Oh my God!
I pretended I was like in a fight, and like trying to get my adrenaline up so much, and it worked.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, after they finished doing that, they looked down in the cup and they said to take one of the other pills, and they're like, wait a second, I thought you took your sedative, and I'm like, I did, the blue one. He goes, no, not that blue one. And I'm like, oh. Then I took that one. Then it was off. That was fantastic. That made me like I don't even remember the rest of it. It was
my God!
After that,
that's crazy. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. Tons of little slices. So, wow, that's crazy.
It was like 5 people in the room. They're all taking all the little donor hairs, and they're looking under the magnifying glass and under the microscopes, and then they re-put them in right there.
So do they pluck them out of your back and then put them in?
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. They shave you bald.
Okay.
And then right when you're there, and then they started putting the taking the donors from back in your back of your thing, and then they started slicing over here and just like all up and down. Oh my gosh, it hurt so bad.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but I'm glad. So they said, do you want to come back and do it again? And I said, I'm never coming back here. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, the front looks pretty good. I could probably get the back done too, the top.
Yeah.
And Damon did it again. And I'm like, he's trying to talk me into getting the back done too. And I'm like, I don't know. What was worse was getting out of Beverly Hills, leaving there at 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. I think we finally got out of there. I went in there at 7 a.m.
Hit the traffic.
Got out there and we had to drive home because you have to sit up to sleep for the first couple of days.
Oh, really?
And so I bought a special chair to be able to sleep in. And I got pictures of it, just my head wrapped. It looked like an Arab guy with the wrap around there, except with blood all dripping
oh
still
my God,
there.
No kidding.
And it, starts itching a little bit. You can't touch it.
Oh, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Did you drive all the way back that day?
Yeah, all the way back. It took 3.5 hours just to get out of L.A. And we were in such bad traffic.
Yeah.
I was absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. I think it took us like 8.5 hours to get home.
Oh.
It was. We got home after midnight.
That's horrible.
Yes,
that would suck. When you got into real estate, do you remember? I mean, obviously there was the crash in 2007, 2008 that kind of brought things down. But before that, when you were starting to grow, do you remember when you felt like I made it? I'm doing good. Business is kicking.
Yeah, probably in 2001. 2000. I started meeting people I went down to the courthouse steps in 1999 and met a bunch of people. And
were you doing like tax lien stuff at that point? Or?
I was doing regular real estate, just buying, listing homes and selling homes.
Okay.
And then a buddy of mine said, hey, I said, hey, I sold my first $1 million house and got a $30,000 commission. And I want to build a bar in my house. And so I called a buddy of mine that had a bar, and I'm like, hey, can I come over and take some pictures, tomorrow morning? He's like, well, I'm going to the courthouse steps tomorrow morning, but we can do it in the afternoon. I'm like, man, I always heard about these, the foreclosures. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's awesome. And I'm like, do you mind if I tag along? He's like, no problem. So I went down to the courthouse steps and saw what houses were being sold for right there. And I'm like, this is amazing. And started going down there and meeting people and then trying to buy whatever they bought. And they would mark it up from whatever they bought, and I'd wholesale it. And, I'd find a buyer for it, and I'd get my middleman fee basically. And so, they would buy it for, I think the first house I bought, they bought it for $67,000. They sold it to me for $77,000, and I sold it for $81,000.
Oh, wow.
So I made $4,000 in one day.
Wow.
24 hours, because it closes and you have to pay for it the next business day.
Gotcha.
And so that's what was my introduction to the auctions, on foreclosure auctions. And I just started wholesaling everything that this company bought. I hooked up with this company, and I offered to drive their houses for them every day. So whatever that was going to the auction that day, I'd drive their houses. I put a valuation on it, and I'd tell them what I would pay for it. And they would use my numbers to buy it. Then I would wholesale the house to other people. And,
Wow.
And then I wound up opening up my own shop and doing the same exact thing. So I did that in 2000 and, gosh, I think I did that in 2008. I think it was 2000, maybe 2007, 2008 is when I decided to open up my own thing. And that turned out to be the best thing I ever did.
Do you now carry, I'm assuming you carry a portfolio of properties?
Yeah, I got about 70 houses.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. 70 rentals. I did a great thing with those. One of the smartest things I ever did, and I learned this from Kevin, is put them on 15-year notes. So I put all my properties on 15-year notes, and I wound up paying them all off. And some just went 15 years, and then some, that I owed on, I would just take all the rental money, and I would whatever overage I had from the rents over whatever the mortgage payments were, I would just add all that into it. And as soon as you pay one off, then
Just roll that into
just
the
keep
next
rolling
one.
and rolling and rolling and keep it going and going and going until all of a sudden everything's paid off. And
Wow.
so yeah, that was a really good decision.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you do commercial real estate as well, or
I do not.
Just residential?
Yep, just residential. I mean, I bought my building in 2004. We built it with Kevin. We had a couple other partners. I bought everybody out of the building because I wanted to make it my own. Wanted to renovate it. About 3 years ago, I decided, I want to build something that I never want to move from, and I wanted to build it and make it my own and make it a gathering place. Everything I build now is for gatherings. I love being around people. I love everyone getting together, having parties, food, drink, everything, and that's really where the magic is with my company. I think we have 25 employees now, which is the most we've ever had, as far as people directly working for me and
Gotcha.
in my company. I've had a real estate company with over 100 agents in it, but this is all people working for DougHopkins.com.
Gotcha.
Just DougHopkins.com, and just Phoenix, not including the California Sellers Advantage. And yeah, it's an awesome thing to have and to see people come together and laugh and smile and have a good time. And I built out a full kitchen in my office. I built out a full bar in my office.
Nice.
I built a whole covered patio, with a smoker and everything else.
Kidding.
A couple of ice machines in there.
awesome.
But, no stone left unturned in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Are you just in Arizona and California, or are you in other states as well?
No, just those two states, yeah. Yeah, Southern California and Arizona.
Very cool.
Yep.
When you strip away titles, numbers, finances, what does success look like to you?
Happiness. You're only as for me, I'm very content in my life, but there's certain things that you know whether you're happy or not. And going through that short-term depression and going through the times of being unsure of yourself and problems and this, that, and the other, I'm very content, and I love seeing my kids be happy and being successful. My daughter Kayla is going to be having a baby here in the next week, and just seeing her go through this, and it's her first baby. I have
That's
two.
awesome.
Yeah, seeing her going through this and how happy she is, and I can't wait for this. My first granddaughter.
So I think I told you earlier, my daughter just had my first grandson. It'll be 2 weeks ago to Thursday. It'll be 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
So,
Awesome.
but kind of similar timelines because we had talked about you coming on the air with me, and
Yep.
and it's something special, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm excited for
Oh,
it.
I can't wait. I know I'm going to cry like a little baby
yeah.
when I hold her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, her name's going to be Little Charlotte. So Charlotte's, yeah,
That's
I guarantee you. I have 3 daughters, two of which are was it mine?
Oh, okay.
What's that called?
Biological?
Biologically.
Yeah.
So biologically mine, and then my older daughter, who is my ex-wife's daughter. She was 7 when I got when I got married.
Okay.
But we're really tight too.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Are you remarried now, or just dating, or?
well, you could call it that.
Okay.
I've been dating the same woman now. She's a wonderful woman for 6 years.
Okay.
I think I have some PTSD about getting married again.
I hear that.
And so and I told her, and she's a wonderful woman. She understands. I'm like, listen, I'll take care of you. I'm just not gonna go through. I don't want the government telling me what I can or cannot do. And
Well, I look at it as every day's a choice.
yeah,
Right. I mean, and it is when you're in a marriage too, right? But when you're not married, you're making the choice every day.
yeah.
Wake up and go home.
That's the one thing about divorce is I'm a guy that kind of likes certainty. I had so much uncertainty, and that really affected me.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have to give up half.
Yep.
I knew that, and I was, that was a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
And I knew not only did I have to give up half, but I'd have to pay child support and alimony,
Yeah.
and it was a very large number.
Yeah.
And with that, it's like, can I still afford the things that I need to do and the advertising I need to spend if I have to spend all this money, to my ex. And so I wound up working out. It worked out pretty good, but I didn't like that feeling at all of not being able to do that and dealing with lawyers and dealing with judges and all that other jazz and that way I just like to keep it like, listen, in my opinion, or at least this is what I tell myself anyway, you get married to have a family and and have kids, and I think that's really good. It's a very good thing. For me, I knew I wasn't going to have kids anymore, and so why?
Yeah.
Why do you have to involve all that stuff? You get a little tax break here and there, but and you can have her. I can have her sign a bunch of things, but why?
Yeah.
I care. I'll take care of you and
Make a commitment going forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. If you could send a message back or travel back in time 10 to 20 years to see yourself or talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself?
Oh gosh, get divorced sooner.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, wait. No, just kidding.
Yeah. No, I would say your word is everything.
Yeah.
And never lose your integrity. Never lie to get a deal. Never listen. People lie all the time to get deals. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't do it. They'll tell you, okay, I'll pay you the $350, knowing darn well they're not going to pay $350,000. That they're going to come back and try to lower the price to $320.
Yeah.
Just to get the deal signed, and then they have nothing to lose, right? So people will have people sign a contract and then just back out or try to lower the deal. Integrity means everything to me. If you lie to me or cheat me or steal from me or whatever, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
Like I have no use for people that do things like that. It's funny. I've saved now 3 ladies that were getting scammed. Unfortunately, I didn't know about the 4th, and she got scammed. There's so many scammers that are out there right now that they prey on usually older women that said they're going to get married. They just meet them online, and they text, and they go through WhatsApp, and they do all this stuff, and they think they're dating this person that they never met. And then literally the people fall in love without even meeting.
Wow.
And they plan this whole life together, and they spin this whole imaginary fantasy that they're going to do. And then people are like, okay, well, we just need to sell our house. I'm buying this house, but you need to sell your house so that you have the down payment, and then I'm going to put in my money. And so people are coming to sell me the house for fake people, and they just say, wire it to me, and then I'm going to wire it to the title company, and then they take their money and they're done. I've saved 3 people in the last year about that. So I wanted to put that out there for those of you who, one was a publishing clearinghouse sweepstakes winner that said, they had to get the taxes first. You won $17 million, but you need to pay $250,000 in taxes before we send you the money.
Oh my God.
And so a lady was telling me that. She's like, I just need this money. I need to sell this house, take that money, give it to the people so I can get the $17 million. And I said, ma'am, do you have any family in town? She goes, yeah, my son, he lives in town. I go, I need his number right now, ma'am. She's like, why? I'm like, because you're being scammed. I go, they're just going to take the taxes out of it, before they give it to you. They're not. You don't have to pay the taxes up front. You're being scammed. She gave this lady had given them over $100,000 already.
Oh my God.
And they wanted another $250,000. So I wound up saving that lady.
Yeah.
And then I saved the one lady who still to this day believes this guy is real. And we wound up finding out it's a woman out of Miami that has a rap sheet a mile long that's been scammed. And I think she got caught because she sent flowers. Because the lady in Miami sent flowers. She was masquerading as an actor for the Hallmark Channel.
No kidding.
And she had AI and everything, like literally FaceTiming with AI. Which is crazy.
That is.
It's insane. Or messages anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of scams out there. So people out there listening, warn your parents, warn your kids. Have safe words with your family because there's just a lot of scams out there right now.
It is. It's incredible, and it's getting more and more realistic.
Yes, AI is insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it really truly is.
Yeah.
Anything you'd change about where you started, where you're at today?
Oh, man, it's all about the journey.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey, the ups, the downs. Nobody's getting through life without getting a few nicks and cuts, man.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you stronger.
Yeah.
The bad times is when you put your back up against the wall or whatever, that's what makes you strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Like my divorce made me stronger. It made me emotionally stronger. And it showed me I can get through anything.
Yeah.
I can get through anything. It's just you just got to endure it, and there's no shortcuts. You got to just do it. It's just like me when I lose weight, right? I'm getting bigger
Again.
Yeah, back.
I'm the same way. It's like I go down and up. And
yeah,
down and up.
I'm a yo-yo.
Yeah.
Yep. But there's no shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
You try Ozempic, you can try this, you can try that, but you want to be addicted to a pill or have to take a pill or a shot, for the rest of your life, or, there's no shortcut. You eat healthy and you work out and weight drops off.
Happens, yeah.
It's amazing how that happens.
How it happens, yeah, right?
You drink this stuff and you eat pizza and the weight comes on.
Yeah.
It just tastes so darn good.
I know. It's like if they could make water taste this good, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, because I've heard rumor that you take a trip to Vegas every year.
I used to.
Or you used to?
I used to. We used to go up for Super Bowl.
Supposed to ask you about crazy trips to Vegas.
Oh, there were some crazy trips to Vegas. We'll have to keep that off there. Yeah. No, there's some. I used to be a big gambler. It's amazing how less I like it. I used to love Vegas. I really did. And we go up and we stay downtown. We party downtown. Downtown's changed. Vegas has changed.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're hurting right now. It's because the big corporations came in and made prices out of their freaking minds.
That's ridiculous.
You go. We went up. We got 2 double vodka Red Bulls. We wanted to start off. Mm-hmm. It was like $90.
Holy crap!
For two drinks. Now, granted, they were vodka Red Bulls,
but still
$90 for 2 drinks. I was like,
insane.
It was over $100 with tip. I think we just left them $100. They're like, right, you can just take it. Yeah, $91 here. You can have the $9.
Wow!
I'm not tipping 20% on that ridiculous price.
It's so crazy. It's funny because we haven't been to Vegas for, gosh, I don't know, a number of years. But my daughter went to school up in Wisconsin, went to college up in Wisconsin, Ashland, Wisconsin. We went up for her graduation. She's like, you guys got to go check out this bar. And they've got great food, and we were waiting for whatever. So we went over, had dinner, I don't know, 2 or 3 drinks apiece probably.
Yeah.
They brought us the check, and I'm like, I think you guys forgot to put something on here. I mean, it's like so cheap. Yeah. And it's like, everybody's like, yeah, well, that's why everybody in Wisconsin drinks so much, because it's cheap. Down here, it's like $20 a drink or whatever it is, depending on where you go. Vegas, $90 for 2 drinks. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Scottsdale is pretty expensive as well. Man, I'm out in East Mesa, and I'm a happy hour kind of guy.
Yeah.
So you get happy hour prices and whatnot. I mean, I'm at home at at 7 o'clock every single day.
Yeah.
Usually 6 o'clock, honestly. And I'll go back and watch the sunset. And I'm trying to get more into nature and appreciation and gratitude and that sort of
Slow
thing.
down a little bit.
Yeah, and so I'm home. 90% of the day is by 6 o'clock, and I enjoy it. I enjoy my house. I just built a new house and moved into it, and it's the sunsets from there are just amazing, and I
Awesome.
just love it. And what's crazy is there's a family of deer in my subdivision.
Oh, no kidding.
I had never seen deer in the valley before.
I haven't either.
And I mean, there was a big bull with a whole big rack. I mean,
No kidding.
It was insane.
Huh.
Yeah. And then there was a big doe like 3 days later, like right in front of my house. And I'm like, this
That's
is amazing.
incredible.
So I've been going out looking every night. I feel like Tony Soprano with the
Trying to
ducks.
find 'em.
Yeah. You know how he has the ducks?
Yeah, yeah.
You watch The Sopranos or whatever?
Yep.
I find myself a true appreciation for nature all of a
That's
sudden.
funny.
And I went up to Banff earlier this year, and Banff, Canada. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yep.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
I mean, some of the most beautiful
it's
things I've
gorgeous.
ever seen. The
Gorgeous.
mountains and everything else, and yeah, it was really, really nice there.
My parents are northeastern Washington, like literally right up against the border almost, Canada. And my little hometown, small, little tiny, I think there's like 5,000 people in my hometown. But yeah, driving through town, there's deer walking through the road. It's like you just got to stop.
Yeah.
Let them go,
Oh, yeah.
turkeys. It's like down here, you never see anything.
No. I see them all the time up in Payson in my cabin.
Yeah.
But down here, I'd never seen a deer before. I've heard that there's deer, in like Carefree and out in Gold Canyon. They have a little bit of the higher elevations out there by the mountains, but I'd never seen them down here.
Do you get any javelina or anything like that?
Oh, tons of javelina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a mountain lion.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was a coyote at first. I'm like, that's one big coyote.
Uh,
And then he turned around and I saw the face and I'm like, oh, that's no coyote. And the
Dang.
muscles on those things are just
it's
incredible.
crazy, yeah.
Every step you just see the muscles and everything. Like,
Crazy.
man.
Don't let the dogs out.
No. Heck with the dogs. I was scared.
Yeah, me packing heat the whole time and go out in my backyard. Be like ready. If somebody was looking to get into your industry, what advice would you give?
Go work for somebody. Go mentor. Go help somebody. Do work for somebody that is knowledgeable in the business and can help mentor you or be an assistant or work for them or do something, because this is a really hard business to be in. Buying, fixing, flipping homes, being a realtor. There's a lot of people that go get their real estate license and they're like, okay, well now what? Who are you going to sell a home to? You got your family and friends, and what if they don't want to buy a home at the moment? And how are you going to get clients? So you got to be able to figure that out and grow your network. Get a good CRM and start growing your network and start reaching out to people on a monthly basis or whatever. Telling everybody, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. Put your stuff on social media. Hey, anyone looking to buy a house? This is what I'm doing. Put some funny videos on there. Do whatever you got to do to get yourself in front of people so that you can get business.
Nice. Great advice. Real quick before I let you go, any crazy stories with regards to houses you've either picked up or sold that you can share?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, within a few minutes.
I have. No. There's a lot of crazy stories. I told a little bit about the scams, but let me see. Okay, I got one. So back in the day, I bought a trustee's sale, and went down. We had a receipt for the home, but you don't get the actual title for like 10 days. So we went down, bought it, paid for it. I called a locksmith. They couldn't get out until the next day. So I'm like, I'm going to go try to break in myself. So I went out there and I'm checking windows, and I get the back door open. Well, as I'm walking in the back door, the cops jumped over the wall, and I'm at gunpoint.
No.
It was one of the neighbors saw that I was
Trying
in
to
there.
break into the house. Oh, no.
I've never been more scared in my life, man.
I'm
sitting there with my arms out. I bought the house. It's my house. It's my house. I bought a house. I got my hands in the air.
Oh, my God.
I got guns pointed at me. I'm like, oh, my Lord.
I'm on my face.
He's just saying,
Oh, my God.
I'm like, the good thing is, I had a Mercedes out front, so they probably.
Yeah, they figure somebody trying to steal this house or rob this house is not going to drive
Yeah.
Mercedes.
So I went out and got the receipt, showed them. They're like, oh man, this is so cool. You go, can we see the inside? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you know whose house you just bought? I'm like, no. He's like, this guy, he dug a pit inside his living room, and like Silence of the Lambs style, like all the way, like a 5 foot pit,
No
like
kidding.
8 feet down through the foundation. And he was trying to kidnap one of the girls on the street that would walk to the bus stop, and he wanted to throw her in the pit and
Oh
keep her.
my God.
And he had written all this crazy like stuff all over the house and all out in front. And he made the carport look like a heart, and he was just mentally disabled and like crazy. Wanted
No
to,
kidding.
yeah. And so he was in jail, and that's why it went to foreclosure. And I walked in and saw this pit and saw all this like love letters to this girl who was like 8.
No.
And
Made me sick.
it was gross. And so I immediately sold the house to somebody else for exactly
get
what I
rid
bought.
of it,
Just to
yeah.
I'm like, here, you take this one on. I didn't want to be
Wow.
a part of that. I didn't. It gave me goosebumps. But
Well,
yeah,
with 3 daughters, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I don't know if you had them at that time, but
Yep, I
that'd
did.
be too much.
yeah, it was gross. It was gross. But just seeing that pit, like that's where he was going to keep her. Like you had this whole thing. I mean, all in the concrete, it was whatever, and on the like markers everywhere in the house. He had just all these love stories too. They're trying to keep us apart. We are meant to be together. She's 8 years old.
Oh my God.
Insane. That's the craziest, most disturbing one.
That would haunt me for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you remember it, but I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yep. Then
That's crazy.
Dead bodies ones are always really hard too. I went into a house that they didn't find them for 2 months, and that the smell of those were, like I can smell it right now just talking about it. Like
Yeah.
it just comes right back to you. It's just
My ex-wife worked for a guy who was a tax lien. He bought stuff like that. And we ended up buying one house from him one time, and would have done it more. She just didn't like the whole process. She didn't like the thought of it, but it was a hoarder's house.
Yeah.
And we went in, and the toilets obviously hadn't been working for a really long time, so it was all feces everywhere. It was pretty nasty. But
yeah. I get those as well.
a lot of work.
I get those as well. Yep.
So, anyways, well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on, taking
my
the
man.
time. It's been a
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Yeah,
it's been
absolutely.
good getting to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll look forward to the next time we get to sit down and chat.
All right. Sounds good, brother. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. All right. Oh, you know what? Almost forgot.
What's that?
Everybody who comes on gets a gift.
All right.
I have one for you.
What you got?
So we got a challenge coin or ball marker, depending if you want to take it on the golf course.
Yeah.
It's a little above and beyond coin.
Nice.
And then we've got a glass similar to the one that you're using right now, but it's got your name. Let's see. Roxy would say it is etched in the glass.
Etched in the glass. All right.
Or no, engraved in the glass. Anyways, Rox Ink Calligraphy does all the glasses for me.
Well, very nice.
So we have those done for special for the guests. So yeah.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you
Very
coming on.
much. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I will
So-
definitely be using this probably tonight.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Doug Hopkins, and I went above and beyond.
Real deals, authentic connections, the kind that heals from Palm Springs to Pine Top Grace. APN's network spans every place. Above Pond Network, we're going above and beyond, reaching new heights. In networking realms, scaling the heights. From mixers to golf, our spirits unite. APN's the beacon, our guiding light. So here's to APN, where dreams align. In every connection, a chance to shine. Above and beyond, we'll always strive. In APN's network, we truly thrive.